Hello everyone, this is Redmond's Football Report, February 2nd, 5th, 2021.
Hi, and we're back as always.
Yep, if you haven't watched this, my name is Redmond and Martin French helping me to do these.
Yes, helping you. Yes, we're here
back.
Twice a week, every week. What days?
Friday and Friday, if you can watch it live, those are the days. And what time?
Very good question. 1800 hours Central European time. That's 6 in Europe. 5 in Britain and yes, that's right. 5 in Britain and Ireland. Midday in the east coast of the US and 9 a.m. on west coast US. And wherever you are, well, work out your own time. You'll know best for yourself. That is not to figure out what your time is. Times will probably change if and when we move back to the States, which should be in theory sometime in the end of July, beginning of August.
Yep, and that is when football maybe rise because there'll be better weather.
Yes, well, I'm hoping there'll be better weather before that.
And COVID-19 cases down.
Hopefully so. Well, first things first, we're going to do what we always do, which is look at results. Stop fiddling. And results for the week are as follows. And I didn't put in Fergus's guesses because I just didn't have time. But Al Jazeera went ahead and won quite comprehensively against Al Nasser in the UAE. Democratic Republic of Congo lost to Cameroon, which puts Cameroon in the semi-finals. We'll be talking about the semi-finals of the African Nations Championship shortly. Neither of us had that one guessed. Palmeiras beat Santos, so I take the point on you there. In the Copa Libertadores final, they have to be in Qatar in literally a few days. According to the internet or FOTMob, it looks like they're meant to be playing a game against Barcelona women. Won, not quite as comprehensively as I thought, not quite as gently as Redmond thought, but they beat Real Madrid, and they are now top.
And Fergus thought it was,
which wasn't a million miles away.
We think Fergus should get back in this show.
It would be nice if he could make it.
He's so activated for the scores. We don't want exactly scores. We want crazy scores.
Well, we'll be talking about a crazy score later. Moving on down, the El Salvadoran final was won by Aguila, who beat Alianza. And if I'm not mistaken, Aguila are now up to 15 league titles. Sporting Club, in the 92nd of 95 minutes, beat Benfica 1-0 in
and I got the score right.
You did get the score right, and
so
now
we're drawing.
Now they're 9 points clear at the top. Well, no, actually, you got Alianza to win that one, Redmond. So I've actually still got. So Sporting Club top by 9 points from Benfica, and I think it's 4 or 6 points from Porto. I'm not too sure. Best chance they've had in years. That game still didn't happen. Morocco went on to beat Zambia 3-1, so we're both right accurate on that score result-wise.
I just needed to give a goal for Zambia and I'll get it exact.
Yes.
Well, that game, you didn't actually get it right. You have 2-0.
Yeah, they won by 2 goals?
No, they won by
3 goals to 1, which would be 3 minus 1.
Is...
Thank you. Juventus won, as I said, 2-0 against Sampdoria, while West Ham felt the wrath of a resurgent Liverpool, which was a 3-1 win, as opposed to our 1-0 and 2-0. And finally, Barcelona back in form against Athletic Club, winning 2-1, which is, I suppose, par for the course there. We'll be talking about a lot of these clubs shortly. Before we carry on, we're going to talk about the game of the week.
Yep.
Sorry about that delay. The game of the week, as far as I was concerned this week, was a women's game taking place in the Coppa Italia Femminina between Empoli, who were the home side, and Juventus.
So how was the game like?
So Empoli went a goal up early on.
Easy.
Juventus come back, but Empoli get score again to have a 2-1 lead at half-time. But the scoring wasn't finished. It went on to have Empoli leading, I think, 3-1. Then it was 3-2, 3-3. Empoli got another goal. About 79 minutes, I think it was, to go 4-3. Sorry, up. I think it was 4-3 up they were.
And then
Juventus got in the 80th, 81st, somewhere along there. I'm not too sure on times. He's the man for times. And in the 87th minute, Cristina Girelli scores of a game in which I think there were no scorers, and Juventus win 5-4. Incredible. Wish I'd known about it in time to A, promote it, and B, watch it.
I think you were expecting Empoli to win, but Juventus just takes that lead.
Well, when they're ahead so many times.
Yeah.
But when you're playing against a team with the quality of their players,
yes.
You're going to expect that. I think Juventus started with maybe 5 or 6 typical first 11 not playing. They did have the core of Gama and Bonansea, and I can't remember who else.
Those are some good
but
players.
They had the players to bring on. So
yeah, and then they could smash away Empoli, but they scored a lot of goals, so they weren't able to.
So Redmond, what do you want to report on football wise this week?
Well, I want to tell you both. Actually racing. About 2 things. About Racing Louisville and Lou City are actually on their. Might wonder what those teams are. They're teams in America, and they're my favorite teams. That's Team Racing, and my favorite men's team. My second favorite is Lou City.
Oh, who's your favorite?
Juventus, of course.
Okay. Well, what happened to Waterford? Always support your local teams first and foremost. Be fans of whoever, and we're fans of many different teams in this household.
And we've been
always
to
remember
many
your local team is your local team. Right. Anything else you want to report on?
I want to say talk about Asian football is actually really good football.
Yes, it is.
It is. It's great football.
Anything else you want to say about Asian football?
You might be wondering how you're trying to convince me. Well, you watch an Iran game, and you'll see some good scores, and maybe one, because these teams in Iran are so good.
Yes. There you have it. So, we're going to go on to our previews. The week that is in it, we're going to start with the big stuff first. The FIFA Club World Cup takes place in Al Rayyan in Qatar this week and next. Please keep the hands quiet so it's not as annoying. And we start off with the 2 quarterfinals to play off to get into the semi-finals. That's Tigres or UANL from Mexico, winners of the CONCACAF Champions League, against Ulsan Hyundai, who are from Korea and winners of the Asian Champions League. Meanwhile, Al Duhail, who are basically the they're the host team, although they don't play in Al Rayyan, are playing against Al Ahly, who are the Egyptian team who won Africa's Champions League. So, looking at Tigres first, this is the best chance of a final appearance for either of these sides. The winners play Palmeiras, who have literally only just won the Copa Libertadores and have to travel thousands of miles to get to the game. And potentially, they may be playing Botafogo during the week, so how that can in any way benefit. These are the... Tigres have to travel approximately 14,100 kilometers to get to this game, whereas Ulsan only have to travel 7,500. They're in this confederation. They have to play the teams further west again than them. Tigres are the big favourites. You would expect that. Mexican teams are always going to be expected to do well, but in the past they have not necessarily done so well in the World Club Championships. Meanwhile, looking at the other game, it's kind of like, could you please stop shaking literally everything? Let's move you in. Stand up. Oh, God. And he pulled everything off the seat. All the things that are put there to make it easier for you to sit. Sit. All the messing. Oh, God. Don't climb. Sit. Please just sit. Ladies and gentlemen, live TV. Right. In the other game, Al Duhail play Al Ahly, and it's kind of like an Arab World Cup final. to be honest. They're the Western Arab Federation of Football or something like that. The Western Arab Football Association hasn't really been as active recently as they had. Focus on the screen, because we want to hear from you in a minute. Duhail got there by a walkover over Auckland, whereas Ahly won, obviously, the African Champions League. They're the two closest teams located to each other within this competition at 2,063 kilometres from city to city. The next nearest two teams are Ahly and Munich, which is 2,600 kilometres away from each other. Duhail went out in the recent Asian Champions League group stages, or the ones in the run-up to this. So in theory, they could have qualified, but they didn't. But they are the reigning champions, I believe. They have among their squad, they have 6 current Qatari internationals, as well as Mahid Benatia, formerly of Juventus, and many other good teams. Meanwhile, the Pharaohs have 6 players coming from Ahly. Ahly are probably the world's greatest team in terms of winning international tournaments. Let's have a look. Redmond, what are your thoughts on these 2 games? Well, we're talking about Tigres against Ulsan Hyundai.
I'm going to stay with my score. Tigres is a really good team.
Okay, and nobody knows what your score is.
It is 2-0 to Tigres.
Okay. Meanwhile, I'm inclined to plumb for Ulsan Hyundai. The North American teams tend not to produce when they get to the World Club Championship, in my opinion, or not produce as well as they'd be expected. I think a plucky Ulsan team are going to win 2-1. Looking at Duhail against Ahly, what's your expectation, Redmond?
1-0.
That's not what you have.
1-1.
1-1 earlier is what you're guessing. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking it may go Ahly's way 2-0. Moving on to Africa now for another couple of, in this case, semi-finals of a major international tournament. We're getting to the business side of the African Nations Championship. The 2 semi-finals today taking place on... What day are they taking place on? Let me find them on the computer. They're taking place on the 3rd on the afternoon, evening, depending on where you are. Keep your fingers to yourself. They're taking place tomorrow, 3rd of February. It's Mali against Guinea and Morocco against Cameroon. I'm the one who picked Mali-Guinea. It's clearly not as big a game, but these are 2 group-topping teams. Mali were in the group with Cameroon and got through that. Guinea within their own group. Mali should be the stronger of the 2 teams, in my opinion. Silly odd fact. The flags are basically the same as each other, only reversed. In the case of Mali, going from flagpole to edge, it's green, yellow, and red. In the case of Guinea, it's red, yellow, and green. And here's a particularly odd fact, and absolutely useless for football. Every team Mali has met so far has had the red, the green, and the yellow, while Guinea has met no team with all 3 colours. I know, scintillating stuff here. The other game, the late game, I think, is the favourites against the hosts. Morocco play Cameroon. Cameroon surprisingly knocked out Democratic Republic of Congo, while Morocco keep on walking on the way. Morocco, so far, have 9 goals scored compared to Cameroon's 4. The last 2 games between these 2 teams each went to the home side. But you have to ask, are Cameroon really the home side in this tournament? They haven't played like it, but now's the time to see it. They got past the Democratic Republic of Congo. Who knows? Redmond, what is your take on Mali?
Well, Mali has great firepower. I haven't really cared about Guinea till February, and this is this February. So Mali gets in 2-0.
2-0, okay. Guinea have done well on the scoring front, but I think Mali have too much for them. I'm going with the 2-1 win to Mali. Redmond, in the case of not Tigres, we've already done that one. Morocco against Cameroon. What did you think?
Well, I think it's going to be it's a very 2 brilliant teams, and I think it's just going for a 1-1.
You think a 1-1 draw? I'm thinking 1-1 draw as well. I fancy Morocco to scrape through, maybe, as I've put down here, penalties. So, we'll go north now. The final of that, by the way, is taking place on Sunday, so we'll be all about that final before on Friday's show. Moving north to Europe, and we are going to look in on I think it's not the quarterfinals, the last 16 of the DFB Pokal, the German Cup. And specifically, I want to have a look at the game also on Wednesday between Stuttgart and Borussia Moenchengladbach. This is 10th plays 7th. This has been a surprisingly good year for Stuttgart. They'd been relegated back and forth for a while, but they're seemingly solid at 10th. BMG, even though they're in 7th, they're actually fairly secure in the 7th. They're definitely challenging still for the Champions League. They're far from out of that, but they're only a few points behind. The title looks to be out of touch for almost all, but maybe the top 2. But you never know. Except it's Bayern, so we do know. But Borussia Mönchengladbach, great chance of getting into the doing okay in the Champions League places, and they haven't won very much. They haven't won a league since the 1970s, and they haven't won a cup since 1994. Stuttgart has won both the cup and the league since then. In fact, it's only about 13-14 years since Stuttgart won the Bundesliga. So
13 to 14 years. That's actually not a long time.
In terms of football, not particularly. So, Redmond, who do you think is going to win this big club cup clash between Stuttgart and Borussia Mönchengladbach?
Borussia Mönchengladbach's a great team. And I think they've gotten to the Champions League, so Stuttgart tries to stay solid, but they just lose against
about a team. Okay.
2-1.
2-1 is your guess. I'm plumbing for a 1-1. I don't know if it's going to extra time or a replay or what, but this is the kind of game where a team like Stuttgart can really pick it up, and Borussia Mönchengladbach might be glad of a break. That's my take. We'll look at Redmond's selections now, and this week they are his favourite teams. Granada played Barcelona in the Copa del Rey. We have Internazionale Milan play Juventus in the semi-finals of the Coppa Italia, and then Liverpool play Brighton in the English League. Some background: Barcelona, Granada. Granada are 8th. Barcelona are now 2nd, despite not playing well and everybody mocking them for being so bad. They're still above Real Madrid, a long way behind Atletico, but there's still plenty to play in the season. Granada have been having a pretty good season. I think they're up 8th is a pretty decent showing for them. There is still in with a good chance. Could you sit properly and stop sliding onto me so I can use my elbows? They have a good chance of qualifying for Europe, so they're happy. Barcelona's injuries are starting to ease off. Between ourselves, I would have preferred to talk about Betis and Athletic Bilbao, which is also taking place this week in the quarterfinals. I think that's going to be a very good game, so do tune in if you get a chance. Redmond, Granada, Barcelona, what do you think?
Well, Granada's 8th placed, and the Malta team's been really big, so I don't. If there was no mockings, I would go for 4-0, but my 3-1.
3-1 to
Barcelona.
There we go. Shocker. Boyd tips team he likes. Also, shocker. Boyd tips team that's actually quantifiably much better. I'm thinking it'll be 2-1 to Barcelona. Their injuries are off. Messi seems to be playing a bit better. They all seem to be playing a bit better. This could be a charge that could end up with them winning up to potentially 3 major trophies. It looked like they were dead and buried 3 weeks ago. So that's 2-1 Barcelona is my tip. Get your feet off me. And could you sit in your seat and not be sitting on me? Sit in your seat. There we go. That would be easier for me. Inter Milan against Juventus. We have second in the Italian table playing fourth, but this is the Coppa Italia. It's a two-legged affair. So, we're having actually 4 games in 2020 before the end of the season. We had the defeat already for Juventus 2-0 in Milan in the San Siro. But we have seen big differences with Juventus still since. Will Pirlo take it seriously? I think he probably will because it's Inter. It's going to be a big one either way. It's always a big one when it's the Derby d'Italia. Redmond, what's your thoughts on Inter against Juve?
I think it's going to be 1-1.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be much to separate them. I think it'll be either 0-0 or 1-1.
I would go 1-0 after Juventus didn't have their blip against Inter.
Would you? You'd reckon they'd be certain. Yeah. Well, moving on down, we got Liverpool against Brighton. This is 3rd against 17th in the English League table. Sit in your seat, mister. Liverpool are 3 points behind Man City, who do have a game in hand. Brighton, meanwhile, are 7 points away from danger. So there's a little bit of freedom there, especially after their win against Tottenham at the weekend. Both these teams have beaten Tottenham in recent games. Liverpool are still missing about 8 players. 8 players who could basically walk on to all bar maybe 2 or 3 teams' first team in the English League.